Oh, look at my spoon rack in the background.
There it is. Hi, this is Dusty from the Fellowship Committee, and we are here with the Schaeffers, and they are going to tell us a little bit about themselves so we can get to know them better. And I am really excited because we've just had a lovely tour and found out all of this beautiful artwork that has been passed down from generation to generation, it sounds like. Wood carving, and you used to teach shop, and I hope I hear more about that during this interview because it's just wonderful to get to know everybody. I love it. So my first question is, when and why did you become a member of UCC Congregational Yankton?
Well, I've been a lifetime member of that church.
So
First of all, I was evangelical reformed, and then they changed over to UCC when I was probably a senior in high school, or about that time, yeah.
So your parents went to church there also?
Evangelical reformed, yeah.
Wow.
And that was in Menno.
Okay.
And of course, our church was directly 1 mile south of where we lived, as the crow flies.
Okay.
But we had to drive, then it took us 2 miles to get there.
And when did you go to this location here in Yankton?
19.
We moved here in 1995.
Okay.
He retired in June, and we retired and moved here in 1995.
All right. And how did you find this particular church?
We were familiar with. I have 2 brothers that went to college associated with this church, and they were members there also.
Okay.
So when we moved here, we knew of them, and then we also knew somebody who were introduced first Sunday we were there to Elton Birch and Marilyn, and they took us in as kind of they sponsored us then for membership.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always nice to meet new friends when you're going somewhere new. I know it was very comfortable for me when I first came.
Yeah.
And I like to feel like people are interested in why I'm there and who I am, and
Yeah, sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And you two were very friendly to me when I first.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I love that
Yeah.
because I never got to know my grandparents.
Oh, you didn't?
You know, I was very young, grade school when
Yeah.
they passed, and we didn't live in the same town or close by or anything. So it's kind of nice to have some seasoned folk around that can give us guidance. I still appreciate
old people.
that.
You're talking about old people.
Okay, you said it, not me. All right, so if you had some advice that you wanted to pass on, and I want to hear from each of you, what would that advice be?
Church is very important to me. When Sunday comes around, we don't ask, are we going to church? We just automatically go. I was brought up that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind, be friendly, and be sociable.
Oh, good.
I think that's the highlight for me.
Well, you know, you do that, both of you.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so as a child and in your teen years, what chores were each of you required to do at home?
Well, I had to help milk a cow. We had to bring in the cobs for the stove. You know, we didn't have electric stove or anything like that. We had a wood stove. We had to do that, and we had to gather the eggs. And in the summertime, we had to help clean chicken fryers. My mother and I would clean 10 of them every morning. I don't know how long until we had them all done. 10 of them.
Oh,
It's a lot of chicken.
a lot of chicken.
And if she would sell a chicken, she would get, was it $1? And if she cleaned them, she got $1.25.
Wow.
So we got 25 cents just for for
Yeah.
cleaning a chicken, which is really reasonable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work.
That's a dirty job.
And my mother had a big, big garden. She did lots and lots of canning,
I'll bet.
and we did lots of freezing.
Yeah.
What about you? Chores.
Well, I had chores to do. And from time I was, well, I suppose second or third grade, I was responsible for milking and also for separating milk, feeding the calves, and taking it out to the hogs when after separated, and make sure the cream was in the can. And we did that daily.
Did you ever sneak
Before
some
morning.
cream?
To what?
Did you sneak some cream?
The cream didn't appeal to me.
Oh. My mom tells a story about she lived in her mom and her mother had to have the girls go live in like a girls' home for a short while, and she said the cook would always give my mom a little bit of the cream off the
Oh,
top.
really?
Yeah, she liked that.
Yeah. Well, we used it, of course, in the kitchen. We
Oh yeah.
put that in, and it was taken off the top of the can, yeah.
Yep. So you both grew up on a farm.
Well, when I was in first grade, my parents moved to town.
Okay.
So I started the first grade in a country school, and the last 6 weeks of the first grade I started the town school.
What
And I was lost when I went to town school.
I'll bet. What town?
Bridgewater. Bridgewater. When I got there, well, a little first grader didn't know about going down to the bathroom. They showed you the steps to go there and up and there. Well, to me, I was lost because I was not familiar with that.
Right.
It took quite an adjustment.
I bet.
And then I graduated from Bridgewater High School.
Now, where did the two of you meet?
I was walking home from school.
No, after teaching.
Yeah, I was teaching school, but I was walking home after I taught school with a gal that I stayed with. I boarded at their house.
Okay.
And generally
It happened to be where I went to school that you were teaching.
Oh.
And I boarded there, and their daughter and I would walk home together afterwards. And if we knew the people, they would offer us a ride. She would accept. If we didn't know the people, she would not accept it. And Victor happened to be home for Easter break, wasn't it?
Something like that.
And you'd been in Yankton, and he stopped at his sister Sally's place, and she told him about the gal that's staying at this house. He said, she's looked like a pretty nice gal. And there he saw me walking home, so he stopped and asked us if we'd like a ride. And Margie says, yeah, we'll take one. And as we started visiting, that's what happened.
And what town was this in?
Well, that's the country.
Out in the country.
Okay.
In
Okay.
Meadow.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Elmer School.
Oh my goodness.
That's where we met. He picked up a hitchhiker.
He did pick up a hitchhiker. Best hitchhiker you ever picked up, huh?
Well, it paid off, I think.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, so were you involved, either of you, in any sports or activities at school? Or did you have to go right back home and...
No, I remember playing a little bit of basketball. Not much, but a little.
Okay,
And we had PE, whatever we did there.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't involved in any school sports, but we got involved with neighbors and
Yeah.
playing hide and seek and whatever else.
We played kick the can a lot in hide and
And
seek.
ball, we played
Annie
ball.
over? Did you play
Yep,
that?
yep, we did.
Everybody
We
played
did.
Annie over.
Yep. Okay, so on to education. How far in school did either of you go? Did you go to college at all, or
I had 1 year of college.
where?
Freeman.
Oh, wow.
Freeman, South Dakota. It was called the Freeman Junior College. And I went there 1 year, and then I could teach in a country school. And I could do that for 5 years. And if I'd go back, I could renew it, but I had to give it up because I had migraine headaches so bad
Oh, no.
that I had to give it up.
Oh.
Hmm.
And how about Victor?
I had a little more education than that. I've got a master's in industrial technology,
And where did you get that from?
Mankato State. But I
Wow.
started out in Brookings, South Dakota State, got my degree in agronomy, and then I was out working for a year, and I wasn't very happy with that. So I decided to go back to school and pick up the education courses to teach industrial arts.
So you have a
or,
you have a
vocational ag.
Bachelor of Science degree in agronomy?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yep.
Agronomy,
Yep,
that's
yep.
interesting.
and then a master's in education, industrial education.
So where did you teach?
Eagle Grove, Iowa, most of the time. Rock Valley for 5 years, and then Eagle Grove the rest of the time.
28 years.
Wow. And you are a talented woodcrafter.
Well, thank you.
Talented.
Yeah.
Talented. Amazing. Okay, so tell us something surprising,
Oh,
each of you, that people wouldn't know.
well, I still want to keep it secret.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do. What's one that you'll share with us?
What's the question again?
Something that people don't know about you, that they'd find interesting or surprising.
I come from a family of 13 children.
13, wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. My dad's first wife passed away from childbirth, and he had 6 children, so the grandmother raised a baby. And then he married my mother, and he had 7 more children. And out of 13 right now, there's only 5 of us left.
Wow.
I spent probably 10 years in country school. I was in 3rd grade, and I got St. Vitus dance. And I was out for all the rest of the year then, so I didn't pass 3rd grade. And then when I was in 7th grade, I got St. Vitus dance,
No, romantic fever.
rheumatic fever.
Oh.
Yeah. And that it was out that year too. So
And then you went back and ended up getting your master's degree.
later on,
Yeah.
that had to be later on, of course.
Right. But you didn't quit, I guess.
No, then,
Which is awesome.
What country school did you go to?
Ulmer School, which is located, well, let's see, how to explain that. If we follow this road and follow the curve and
Yeah.
go on over to, let's see,
Is it up by Menno?
where, yeah, it's close to Menno,
Close to
but
Menno.
it'd be about 4 miles further this way, to the south.
Ah.
How'd you guys
Cut-
get to
look,
school?
We lived along the country, the county road,
Oh, yeah.
Hudson and Yankton County, and that school was located then 1 mile further north, and a half a mile further east. That's where our school was located.
Wow. So, how'd you get there? How'd you guys get to school? Did you walk? Did you take horses? Did you?
Well, we
Was
ran to school in the morning, because after chores there was just barely time to
Yeah.
eat breakfast, and then we ran all the way to school, over the fences, and to school.
How many
And then
miles?
it was 2.5 miles, I think, yeah.
Wow.
And then on the evening, we took our time going home.
Uh huh.
Enjoyed going home.
Yeah.
And
That's
how
crazy.
about you?
And I lived about 2 blocks from school.
Oh, okay.
So we went home every noon to eat, where the
Mhm.
country kids went to lunch and ate there, but we were able to go home and eat.
Oh,
About 2.5 blocks.
yeah.
So, what was your first job?
I worked for dehydrating plant for alfalfa. That was my first job, and that was right out of, on the edge of Minnow.
Okay.
And the sacking the alfalfa meal that was dehydrated. And
Wow.
that was my first job, yeah.
How about you?
How old were you?
I was a senior in high school,
Okay. Okay. What-
junior, senior in high, yeah.
Well, I suppose my first job was babysitting. I did a lot of babysitting.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. For substitute teachers that needed a babysitter, I did a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was after we were married.
Okay.
And I was teaching.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 21 years old, and I would turn 22 in a couple of months.
Did you buy your wedding gown or did you make it?
I bought it out of my own money
Oh my. Where did you buy it?
in Sioux Falls. I had a sister-in-law that went with me to help me pick it out.
Nice.
Did you try on several gowns?
I think I did, but then
Yeah.
we found one that I liked. And I had a sister that got married a year after me, and I offered her to wear my wedding dress, and she did.
Oh, cool.
But she got a different veil. She wanted something different. So she got to wear my wedding dress too.
Cool. Did you have a lot of attendance?
About 450 people at our wedding.
Attendance.
And how many
Oh,
people
oh.
stood up with you? That's a big wedding.
Yeah. Was it 3 and 3, right?
I think so.
I think
yeah.
3 and 3.
What color were their gowns? Do you remember?
Was it yellow, Victor? Lavender and yellow was our color.
Lavender-
Oh, wow.
lavender
What
yellow,
what
yeah.
time of year did you get married?
August the 10th,
Okay.
1958.
Year after I was born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You remember it?
I don't remember it. But they tell me that's when I was born.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, what do you remember about your grandparents?
You go first, Darlene. Or-
I only know the grandparents on my dad's side, and he was a pastor. And I remember going to visit him. When I went from the country school, we'd walk through their yard to go to the school in the first grade, and I can remember that. And then when I was in third grade, he passed away. And then my grandmother lived quite a bit longer than that. I think I was in high school before she passed away. And they lived with their son.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember nothing about my fathers, either Benders or the Schaeffers. But I do remember my Schaeffer grandmother. She had me in one morning to have graham crackers and milk or whatever. And I remember that. And that's all, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, anything else you want to share?
Well, I think
Secrets to your marriage. How about that?
Well,
Secrets to how you stayed married so long.
is there a secret?
I don't know.
I didn't have a secret.
Maybe it's having no secrets.
Yeah,
That's probably what it is.
that probably is, Kim. It's probably having no secrets.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had a surprise party for each other, did we ever?
No, you
I think
didn't.
so.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You two are amazing.
Well,
Are we?
thank you.
Well,
Yes.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah. It's very fun doing these. I am just thrilled getting to know
You're taking an
everybody.
education, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. I
Yeah.
want to tell you a little bit about my mother, okay?
Okay.
My mother was very heavy sick gal. And she got along very well with Dad. But she ended up stepping on the rusted nail
Mm-hmm.
and got lockjaw. Not right away, but she soaked her feet for some time to try and overcome that. But ended up going to the hospital here in Yankton. And she was here less than a week, but it seemed like a long time. And we came to visit one time, the whole family did. We passed by her bed and she talked to each of us individually. And then we expected her to come home pretty soon. Didn't happen. Dad came home crying, and that was a sad day. Yeah,
And how old were you?
I was 6 years old.
And he kept the family together.
Yep,
He had a sister that was 4 and a brother that was 1.5.
yep.
Mm.
A family of 10.
Wow.
Oh my
So you
goodness.
both came from big families.
And there were 7 boys and 3 girls. The oldest girl was 16 years old, and she's more like a mother to him than a sister, because she kind of took over. And the next sister was 10 years old, and the one that was right before him, right after him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of took over at different times when they had to.
I'll bet, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what they did back then.
that's amazing.
Right.
Well, no wonder you're still married.
Yeah.
You have, you know what commitment means, right?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
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 Good job.
Don't let the little things bother you, right?
Well,
Try
sometimes
not to.
they do, but we overcome that also.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Well, thank you. Yeah.
doing this today with us. We really appreciate it and look forward to spending more time with you two.
Well, you bet. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
So do you still make things with wood? Do you still build
I don't
things?
have facilities anymore. Yeah.
Anymore, yeah.
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 Otherwise, I think I would want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we moved to Yankton, we had a shop built.
Oh,
He had a shop built, so he
Yeah.
had a very nice shop at our other place.
that's how you can make all this.
He could
Yeah.
still make stuff there then, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
after we
most
moved
of
here,
this was done after I moved to Yankton. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But when we moved here, we knew he'd miss his shop and we knew he'd miss the garden,
Yeah, a garden too.
but we were ready to give it up.
Mhm.
And some of the neighbors wanted to buy the different machines that were in the shop. And we felt, no, that should go with the house, you know, whoever buys the house can get the shop machines with it.
Mm.
Mhm. Our house sold within 2.5 days.
Wow.
I don't doubt
Yeah,
it.
me too.
That's,
Great.
and you've been here 5 years?
5 years, November 21st, and we sold our house in September. And we told the realtor, whoever buys it, they cannot get here until we move here, because we don't wanna move somewhere else. And the people that bought it lived in an upstairs apartment, so it didn't bother them at all. And they bought it because of the shop.
Oh, wow.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Neat. Neat.
But you did a lot of remodeling in that house when we moved here. He added the shop and he redid the kitchen there and he built all new kitchen cupboards and enlarged it a little
And
bit.
where was that house?
2407 Walnut Street.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was our home.
And you lived there for how many years?
26 before we moved here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I've been retired all that while.
Yeah, since 62 he's been retired. He retired at 62 in June and we moved to Yankton in October the 13th,
Oh,
1965, 1995.
And you liked living here in Yankton, I take it.
Yep.
We
That's
did
what
look at other places, but we decided Yankton was what we wanted.
well, sure glad you did.
Yeah.
Well, turns out that this was a major shopping town when we lived.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
When I lived in South Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah. We were looking for a 3-bedroom house with the laundry on the main floor and a double car garage.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the house we bought, he says, I can bring the laundry upstairs, you know, which he did then.
Oh, good. Yeah, that sure helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. Yep. Well, thank you too.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Well, let's see.
You
If I
do a fine job too, you know.
Well, thank you.